Tonight from Winston-Salem, it's an ACC headliner as number 2 Clemson pays a visit to the David F. Couch Ballpark to take on number 12 Wake Forest. The Tigers and Deacons set to battle it out this weekend, 2 weeks out from the ACC tournament in Charlotte. And heading into these last 2 regular season weekends, let's take a look at the ACC's Atlantic Division. Clemson right there at the top with a little breathing room to spare. Wake at 500 right now, just a little bit out of 4th place with some work to do. All right, inside the broadcast booth, Stan Cotton alongside former Major League All-Star Larry Sorensen. Larry, I'm excited that Clemson's as good as anybody in the country. Wake Forest trying to get there.
Really balanced attack for Clemson. They do a lot of different things, and they don't do them great, but they do them very, very well, so there's consistency. Wake Forest with some big offensive weapons, and then they've got Chase Burns on the mound, and he's a difference maker.
Obviously, both these teams with great players. Let's start with Clemson. Wow, here's the ACC Player of the Week this week, Blake Wright.
Well, he's got 19 home runs, and he's played very solid at third base as well. Been a consistent leader in their clubhouse and a run producer. Like I said, does everything very well without one thing particularly taking your breath away.
And so from the Player of the Week, we go to the Pitcher of the Week. Larry, you've already mentioned Chase Burns.
Yeah, not just Pitcher of the Week this week, but his 4th time winning that award. First in the nation in home runs with 140. Electric stuff. We'll watch the radar guns all night long down below us because there are a ton of scouts in the stands and a ton of people in the stands. It's really an electric atmosphere at David F. Couch Ballpark tonight.
So Burns gets the start. Here is the Tiger lineup for Coach Eric Bakich, and down there in that cleanup spot, Cam Canarella. Last 7 games, he's been on a tear, 13 hits, hitting north of 400. Both these teams with lots of power up and down the lineup. As you look into the Tiger dugout, which is down the first base side here in Winston-Salem, you see the back of Chase Burns, and here is Alden Mathis to lead it off, the right fielder for Clemson. First pitch outside corner at the knees for a strike to Mathis, the senior grad student from Pennsylvania.
Just coincidence that the visiting team is in the Sun Field for the most part of the game.
Yeah, Burns won't waste much time, and neither will Clemson's starting pitcher. We'll get to him in a little bit. Yeah, bright sunshine right now. It rained about an hour ago.
Hard.
Yeah, for about 5 minutes is all. There's a breaking ball in for a strike, 1-2.
One of those Florida showers. Rained hard for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then the sun comes right back up and play ball.
Yeah, great weather right now. Cooled off a little bit. The weekend forecast is for a little cooler weather. There's a bouncer just past the Tiger dugout. Down to our right. Most of the field in bright sunshine right now. A good look at Burns. 9-1 with a 3.00 ERA through his 12 starts.
And he's in the count that he loves to be in. Ahead 1-2. He's got 3 options that are all strikeout pitches.
That's a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mathis.
You may have noticed the triple digits on the fastball, 100 miles per hour, down in the zone. He'll throw both down and up. And then he's got curveball, slider, and both are tremendous out pitches, especially when he's ahead.
2-2, got him swinging, and Gill can't find the ball. Throw down is by first base. Now, wait a minute. Going to have a call at home plate, I think. Out is the call. And some fireworks right out of the chute.
Doug Vines comes out from behind home plate to say that he did not give Gill an opportunity to make the throw. He was inside the baseline. And Gill's throw hit him, got away from Kurtz, and it looked like it might be an extra base. There's the breaking ball in the dirt. Now he has trouble finding the ball, and that's what makes the play. And Clemson elects not to appeal on it, and now they're going to ask for another look.
And again, there's the home plate umpire, Doug Vines, who had that call and made it pretty much straight away. He didn't waste a whole lot of time.
He did, but I got to tell you, on the replay that we just saw very quickly, and this will be the first challenge by Clemson, on the replay we saw, it looked like he was in the chute going down the first baseline. Now, the problem came with the play because Gill couldn't find the baseball. He thought that he had it in his hand, and he was going to step out to throw, but he had to go back to get it. It looked like Clemson initially was not going to appeal. then they reconsidered.
Well, again, the call is out at first. Nothing like drama right at the top of the hour. Well, Clemson comes in here 37-10, 17-7 in the ACC. Really good road team. 10-4 away from Clemson. And the Tigers have won their last 8 ACC road series going back to last season.
Stan, I don't see how they can call him out on that, because he is inside the chute. That little, they've got the 2 lines on the right side, and you're supposed to stay in there. It's very difficult to do, but he doesn't know where the catcher's throwing the ball from. So to my mind, his feet are both in his last few steps. He's inside there. I'm going to be pretty surprised if they stay with the out call.
All right, I think they've made their decision. We get word that the umpires are on their way back out. This will be an interesting call. Yeah. Here they are. And the call was out at first base. And they're going to change it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think they got it right. He was in there the whole time, and when the throw came, and then he tried to, it looked like he might try to advance. Wake just couldn't get to the ball in time to throw it over to first to get him out. So it goes as a strikeout on a really good breaking ball in the dirt.
So 141 strikeouts for Burns, yet Mathis down at first. There's Hinderleiter, the shortstop. Bluffs the run, ground ball shortstop, a chance for 2. There's 1 and 2. Pretty well turned double play by the Deacs.
Nice job on the turn by Tellier. Here you see the percentages of what Chase Burns will throw, and he's obviously heavy on the fastball, and if you can throw 100, why not? Slider and curveball, about 3-1, but equally effective. What he likes to do, as I said, is get ahead and then throw those 2 breaking balls down out of the strike zone.
First pitch to right, the third baseman, is off the plate for ball 1.
The other thing that he does, though, Stan, is he's got to get me over slider and a get me over curveball, too. So when he's early in the count, he can flip that and hitters just give up on it.
1-0 pitch is fouled out of play. And by the way, for those of you scoring at home, Larry is a perfect 12 for 12 on replays this year. I've been keeping up. Even dozen.
Wow.
You haven't missed one all year. You are.
You see it enough.
Huh? That's foul. They don't give that all-star stuff out to just anybody.
So does that make me righter than the umpires?
You had a better look than Doug did.
You see it enough, and he ran the right way.
Burns ahead in the count, 1 and 2. There's the strikeout. And that will do it for the Tigers here in the first. Couple of Chase Burns strikeouts, and the Deacons coming to the plate here in sunny Winston-Salem.
Welcome back to this U.S. Open office plan.
Miller just lobbed a message way over Jones's head using some technical jargon.
Let's see if they can use Grammarly to their advantage. Jones is using it to make her point in a friendly way. And now Miller's taking a technical doc and asking Grammarly to rewrite it. Let's see if it makes the difference. It's love all, but does Jones feel it?
Yes, they're aligned. Game, set, and match.
Thanks to Grammarly, every word you write helps you reach your goal.
Download Grammarly for free.
To be a part of Nebraska Medicine
Hi, welcome.
Good to see you.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors
How are you?
that open doors
That went really well.
to growth
Hey.
and opportunity for each other and for our community. For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere
Doing
else.
great.
And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Nebraska Medicine, together extraordinary.
Beautiful Friday night here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Glad you're along for what should be a great weekend. Wake Forest and the Clemson Tigers. All right, there's the Tiger starter, Ethan Darden. He's, what, Larry, 7 out of the bullpen, 7 starts.
Yeah, he's gone back and forth just a little bit. They've had a little bit of an injury factor in a couple of different positions on their team and the mound as well. We'll get into that as the night goes on, but Darden is a guy that's not going to overpower you at all. He's going to get his fastball up to about 90, throws a slider around 84 and a changeup. He'll move around on the mound depending on what type of hitter he's facing, left or right. We'll cover that. The big thing is he's got to keep the ball down in the strike zone. He can't throw it past you upstairs. He's a ground ball kind of guy.
Darden, the sophomore from Rock Hill, South Carolina. As Houston and Kurtz look on, here's a look at the Wake Forest lineup for Coach Tom Walter, last year's ACC Coach of the Year. Jake Reinisch in the cleanup spot. 4 straight games he has sent it out of here. All 4 of those games at this ballpark. The wind whipping today, and a lot of the fellows were knocking it over the fence in batting practice today.
But it's been changing. And like we said, swirly was what one hitter told me.
Well, the Deacons shortstop, Merrick Houston, will lead it off. Sophomore from Nokomis, Florida. It's a fastball outside for ball 1. Wake Forest at home, 22-7. A look at Houston's numbers on the year. The Deacons an even 12-12, as we talked about in the league. That's a chopper right back to Darden. Easy flip. Good play, and the Tigers have their first out.
No panic from Darden at all on that as he knocked it down and saw it right away. Now, the one thing about his fastball is he does have some good run on it. He's left-handed, so you can hardly help having that kind of action on it, but about 52% of the time he's going to throw the fastball with arm side run. Changeup as his best secondary pitch, but he mixes in the breaking ball almost as many times.
Now Wake's first baseman, Nick Kurtz. Man, you think a top 10 first-round draft pick. Big cut, strike 1.
He was trying for 1-0.
Kurtz, a junior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. All-America, All-ACC last year. He finds ways to get on, can certainly hit the long ball. That is in the air to left. Might have gotten under that, and he did. Is having to come in and battling the wind out there. Becerra makes that's not as easy as it looked.
Well, as we talk about swirly, the one thing everybody agreed on was don't go to left field because the wind is knocking it down from there. And I think that was a pretty good indication of it. I mean, he didn't really click it, but he still had to come in. And there you see the wind. That's straightaway center field, blowing over toward right.
Temperature down to 71. It was in the low 80s earlier today.
Dropped in a hurry with that rain.
It did. Here's Seaver King, Wake's third baseman, with 2 outs and nobody on. And Darden, the lefty for the Clemson Tigers, ready to go. He's a quick worker. Chase Burns is a quick worker.
Communication system problem. So Jimmy Bellinger will take another system out. Oops. You know, when you're growing up in the game and you're going through the broadcasting business, communication system problem on the mound is not one thing you expect to say.
What's the deal when the time changes? You're supposed to change your batteries. What is that? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I think that is. Well, seriously, a number of pitching coaches this year.
That is hit hard. Great play, Hinderleiter, and another terrific play in the field. And that will do it for the Deeks. We've played one already. On to the second in Winston.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 4:55 meeting.
Can they turn it around and make this meeting an email?
Jones is taking the ball and running with it. She's asking Grammarly to write the first draft of an email.
What a play. Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you make your point.
She's got a clear shot and it's good.
Bazinga!
It's a slam dunk. The meeting's canceled. They'll go home champions.
Download Grammarly for free. When you get all-you-can-eat boneless wings and fries at Buffalo Wild Wings, you create an infinite loop of boneless wings and fries with no beginning, no end. Just boneless wings and fries forever and ever until they are you and you are them. All-you-can-eat boneless wings for $19.99 on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to discuss the
Making work make sense. LinkedIn knows how.
There's the head coach for the Clemson Tigers. Boy, do they have a good one in his second season as the Tigers head coach. 10th season at Michigan, won the National Coach of the Year there, took the Wolverines to the national championship game in the College World Series. And Larry, I know you spent some time with him the last couple of days.
Yeah, and spent some time with him the last few years when he was at Michigan, my alma mater. And it was a big disappointment to the Michigan fans when he did go down to Clemson, but it's a return home for Eric Bakich, and he's loving what he's doing back with the Clemson Tigers and is doing a great job.
Here's Canarella to lead it off for Clemson. Sophomore out of Hartsville, South Carolina. Freshman All-America from a season ago. Of course, the league's freshman of the year, first team All-ACC. Just a really good player.
And Eric Bakich says that the biggest problem they have is that he likes to hit so much that he doesn't want to stop swinging, so he doesn't walk as much as they'd like.
2-1 from Burns. That one is way up in the air left side. This could be a party with that wind. Wow, good play by King. Just to get settled before the ball came down to him.
Well, I'm not too sure, but it looked like Merrick Houston at one point said, Well,
Wake Forest went to Clemson last year and swept the Tigers 3-0. And since that series, wow.
Yeah.
Tigers have done some damage, right? I mean, they went through the ACC tournament last year, didn't lose a game. See that record up over 800. And I'm not sure what this is about.
Unless maybe they're saying interference, catcher's interference. I mean, the ball was an adventure while it was in the air. Now he's going to go over and talk to Eric Bakich. Haven't had any fights yet, so there's no warnings being given.
Well, the review we had, now this has taken longer than the 7 outs we've had.
Yep.
Just about.
No idea.
No.
What they're talking about. Eric Bakich doesn't look as happy as Tom Walter was, but
fans are a little restless, and you can understand.
Body language has changed on both people involved in this discussion. Eric Bakich is a very mild-mannered coach ordinarily.
Okay. Here's Obertop, the catcher, now standing in with one away. That's a fastball that sails high. Out of St. Louis, another Michigan guy. Michigan transfer.
There are a fairly significant number of people have migrated from Ann Arbor further south.
Ball and a strike to Obertop, who at Michigan in 134 games at 29 home runs drove in nearly 100, right at 97. Strike two.
Back-to-back breaking balls in that kind of location at 90 miles an hour. Forget about it.
Burns needed 4 strikeouts tonight for the new Wake Forest school record. That's a strikeout that glances off of Gill. And that's twice tonight that Clemson, even though the batter struck out, has had a base runner.
Well, he loves to throw the breaking ball in the dirt. His slider is going to be about 90 miles per hour. So when he throws that, it's tough. It's got reverse kind of spin because you think that the ball comes in and bounces to a catcher's right as the slider spin takes it that way, but it doesn't. It goes the other way. It goes left.
So that strikeout ties the Wake Forest single season record at 143 strikeouts for Chase Burns. That gets away just a bit from Gill. So one more, and the record will be his, and he shares it now with Rhett Lauder, of course, who was drafted and is in the Reds organization.
That's pretty good company to be in.
Not bad. Obertop down at first after the strikeout. .102 Becerra is a strike.
You see a little bit more over the top. That's the curveball. The more vertical or horizontal movement will be the slider at a slightly higher speed.
Becerra in his second year out of Greenville. Deacons check on Overtop over there.
It's pretty weird to see two guys on first in 2 innings on balls that get away from the catcher.
That's a strike, 1-2.
Weird being a pretty technical term. That's baseball talk, Stan.
Write that down on notes for the postseason. 1-2 pitch. That gets away from Gill, and down to second will go Obertop.
And that's a good fastball down in the zone. Looked like it had a chance to be a strike, and it just handcuffed Gill. Now, there was a number of around earlier that last year at Wofford, Cameron Gill saw 7 pitches that were over 92 miles an hour as a catcher. They did not have a very hard-throwing pitching staff.
2-2 to Becerra. That is out of play.
So you come in here and you've got a guy throwing 97 to 101. It's an adjustment, and even though it's late in the season and you've caught him a lot, it still jumps on you.
Burns a little bit more deliberate this time. Clock down inside 10 right now. And the 2-2. Didn't miss by a whole lot. Full count. And now the payoff pitch. That got him, and that's the record for Chase Burns. 144th strikeout.
And it comes on a breaking ball at 88 miles per hour, and a 3-2 breaking ball. Knowing that he's got the fastball sitting there and the other breaking ball is awesome.
Junior from Hendersonville, Tennessee, and a transfer from Tennessee. Now the single season record holder for Wake. So 2 down, and here's Crichton, the first baseman.
You know, Chase Burns is very modest about what he wants to do according to all his teammates and his coaching staff. But from a personal standpoint, he's accomplished everything he wanted to do when he transferred from Tennessee. About learning the game, learning his extra pitches. So now it's all about team goals. You know, from a transfer standpoint, I don't think you could say it's worked out. It could have worked out any better for him.
He's ahead of Crichton here, 0-2. Crichton's numbers on the year. Another Michigan guy out of Rochester Hills. And the 0-2 pitch. That's right back to Burns. Soft toss.
That was a changeup.
Yeah, and the side is retired. So Burns gets the record. Still no score here in Winston.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine
Hi, welcome.
Good to see you.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors
How are you?
that open doors
That went really well.
to growth
Hey.
and opportunity for each other and for our community. For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere
Doing
else.
great.
And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Nebraska medicine, together extraordinary.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 4:55 meeting.
Can they turn it around and make this meeting an email?
Jones is taking the ball and running with it. She's asking Grammarly to write the first draft of an email.
What a play. Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you make your point.
She's got a clear shot and it's good.
Bazinga!
It's a slam dunk. The meeting's canceled. They'll go home champions.
Download Grammarly for free.
Here's a good tight look into the Wake Forest dugout and head coach Tom Walter, his 15th season here in Winston-Salem. As we mentioned earlier, last season's ACC Coach of the Year. The Deacons went all the way to the College World Series. 54 wins, a school record a season ago. Trying to get back, Larry, to Omaha. That's never easy, is it?
No, and you're looking at two teams tonight that have the talent to be in Omaha, and both teams have the talent to win it in Omaha. It's been a little bit more of a challenge this year for Wake Forest than it was last year. Everything fell into place.
Some things have gone well for Wake, certainly. Nick Kurtz, ACC preseason player of the year. Preseason #1, spent some time at #1 in the first few weeks of the season anyway. Trying to battle their way back right now as Reinisch leads it off for Wake. It'll be Reinisch, Winney, and Tellier, hitters 4, 5, and 6.
No need to emote my feelings about preseason predictions, is there?
I don't know. Go ahead. 2 balls and no strikes to Reinisch, who's been as hot as any Wake hitter.
He's fell in love with that batting eye in center field, hasn't he?
Big cut there, 2 balls and a strike. As we mentioned earlier, 4 consecutive games with a home run for Reinisch, who has 15 for the year.
How about Charlie Condon down at Georgia, just hit his 34th and his 7th in a row or something?
That is a bunch. Strike 2, 2 and 2.
Now that's the NCAA record in the BB Core era, when they deadened the bats a little bit. I think 49. Pete Incaviglia had.
Darden 2-2, struck him out. Really good pitch on the outside corner, 1 away.
Just nipped the outside corner. Good breaking ball, and it's right there around the outside corner.
First strikeout for Darden. He's retired the first 4 Deacons. Now here's Winney, the Deacon left fielder. That's in the air to right. The wind will help it. Did he get enough? He did. Solo shot to right. No doubt a bit wind aided, and Winney with his 17th homer has Wake Forest in the lead.
Well, it's wind aided, but the execution by the hitter to stay back and let the ball get deep on you a little bit and drive it that way is all player driven. So Jack Winney does a good job with opposite field power and puts the Deeks on top. Cocks the leg for balance and timing. I think he's got a pretty good idea at that point.
Wake Forest with its 92nd home run. And now here's Tellier, the Deacon's second baseman. He takes an opening strike.
Now, Stan, people will tell you that this ballpark is home run friendly, and it is, no question about that. Ball went 404 feet.
Yeah,
that's what ballpark is going to hold that?
It was gonna. So what you're telling me is it was going to go 350 anyway, and the wind helped it go 400.
It didn't help it go 54 feet. No, sir.
Well, it helped it some.
Helped it a little bit.
It was going out anyway, is what is the point. There's the 1-1 right down the line. That is fair, right with the play, and a good one to retire Tellier, and there are 2 down.
Doug Vines bouncing around behind home plate makes the initial call at home because the ball never got to third base. Now Tom Walter's out of the dugout, and he's going to have a conversation. Very quick conversation.
2 words.
And I think he just wants to see if he really believed it was in fair territory.
Morales takes a strike, the Deacon center fielder tonight.
Between the 2 head coaches that we've got here tonight, the umpires must have really looked forward to working this series because they're as polite and gentlemanly as you'll find in the game of baseball.
There's another strike from Darden, 0-2 to Morales, who in his last 10 games has hit .462. 12 hits and 12 runs driven in. And wow, he goes down on 3 pitches. Terrific job by Darden, his second strikeout of the inning. But the Deacs get a run on a Winne homer and lead by 1. It's a beautiful North Carolina night. We have reached the 3rd inning. Wake's 1 hit, a Jack Winne home run. Yes, there he is, Jack Winne with his 17th homer. And Wake has an early advantage. Deacs have Chase Burns on the mound. That's always an advantage. He has 4 strikeouts tonight and has set the Wake Forest single season record. And Nolan Naraki, the DH, will walk up and lead off for the Tigers. He hits in the 8th spot tonight. Freshman out of Rockville Center, New York. And he looks at strike 1.
It's kind of a casual 97.
Naraki's had some medical issues this season. He's missed several games, about 15, 16 games, nothing in 2.
Well, they've had some issues with injuries, especially in the infield, which has ended up in Hinderlander, who's normally a first baseman playing shortstop.
There's strikeout number 5 for Chase Burns. And he is rolling tonight.
Well, the big thing with Burns is keeping the pitch count down because he does get so many strikeouts. But when he only throws 3 pitches and gets the strikeout, that's pretty efficient. We've got all the technology, and I will tell you that the total spin on that was 3,059, which is a big number for major league players. We'll leave it at that.
Here's Jaron Purify, the second baseman. Another Michigander.
From Detroit, Michigan. Yes, sir.
Everywhere.
University Liggett.
Great pitch there, 1-1.
Great school there, University Liggett.
Costs a little bit to go there, doesn't it?
Well, it's a good school. It's a very good school.
Here's the 1-1. Wow. That breaking ball there was just about criminal. That was a good pitch.
When he's getting him over and he's getting ahead in the count, it can make for a long night.
Well, he and Darden appear to be on their games tonight. There's the 1-2.
If there's anything that you would look at Chase Burns and say, well, you know, what can you say bad about him? He's given up maybe a few more home runs.
2-2 struck him out. Number 6, 2 down.
I mean, he didn't necessarily think so. I believe he might have thought it could be a bit high. Nevertheless, he's making the trek back, and the breaking ball is a strike. Burns has given up 12 home runs this year. Again, you take a look at the ballpark, you look at the velocity he generates, and if you square it up, you've got a good chance for the ball to have a charge in it.
Back to the top of the Clemson order, Mathis. He struck out in the first, takes that high, ball 1. Swings through that, a ball and a strike.
Been looking forward to this series for a long time. I thought that the Wake Forest Clemson series last year in Clemson was the best AC series of the year that I saw, certainly.
Strike 2.
And as good as any in the conference all year long. Just 3 terrific ball games, 2 of them one-run games, big crowds, everything good about baseball on exhibit down there last year.
And the 1-2 from Burns struck him out. He strikes out the side. Number 7 for Burns and the Deacs. The last 3, 100 miles per hour. 1-0 Wake, middle of the 3rd. Bottom of the third inning, Wake Forest with the home run has the 1-0 lead over visiting Clemson. The Tigers second in the country coming into Winston-Salem this weekend. The Deacons number 12 right now, looking at the Deacon dugout on a gorgeous Friday night. Here's Chase Burns walking through the Wake dugout. 7 strikeouts tonight, Larry, and there he is against the rest of the ACC.
Well, I think that you can see that he's a high-energy person, and you look at the double figures, it's just staggering the amount of times he's done that.
Hawk, the DH for Wake tonight with a ground ball out to shortstop. Well, Burns at least 10 games, or at least 10 strikeouts in 9 of his 12 starts. And against Western Carolina this past weekend, had 13 in 6 innings, didn't give up a hit. 1 out for the Wake catcher, Cameron Gill.
It was interesting. I looked down at the scout section after that, after he struck out the side. And ordinarily they're pretty calm and, trying to be cool down there in the scout section. There were 3 different guys that were going through motions, showing everybody how he did it.
That's a 1 hopper to Purify at second base. He was perfectly positioned, and Gill is retired, 2 away.
Obviously, they're competing with each other, and there's only a handful of teams, probably 6 or 7 teams that are picking at the top part of the draft that really have a chance at him unless somebody trades up.
We've been talking a lot about Chase Burns, and rightfully so, but I mean, Darden's allowed 1 base runner. That was the Winne home run. That's it. That is it.
Different style.
Houston grounded out to lead off the bottom of the first for Wake.
But only 23 pitches thrown for Darden.
There's a strike, and the only base runners that Chase Burns has allowed have been on strikeouts. But that's crazy. That will twist foul. And the count's 2-2.
An interesting thing about Darden pitching to a right-handed hitter. He will, if you watch him where he sets up on the mound, he goes to the first base side to the right-handed hitters. He likes to crossfire. He likes to get an angle when he throws. When you watch him throw to left-handers, he'll go over to the other corner of the rubber. He'll go to the third base side and throw from over there. So kind of an interesting thing. Does it all the time. All to try to get angle and approach.
2-2 pitch is low, full count.
And make it look different to the hitters. Crossfire it, like I said, a little bit across the body and from a lower angle.
Tigers, pardon me, Larry. Tigers with the shift on toward left. And that is right off of Darden. Going to be a tough play, can't make it. Houston is safe at first base.
Purifoy comes in and picks the ball up, flips it over to first base, but just a little bit late. It was hit well. It wasn't a screamer. It just bounced off the glove. I'm sure it'll go as a base hit.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. But a ball certainly that I'm sure he thinks he could have had. Now he's going to get a little visit to just say take a deep breath.
Wind continues to howl out to right field right now. Really blowing hard. And a big, powerful left-handed hitter, and Nick Kurtz coming to the plate.
Field conditions getting near the point of being a factor as the sun's going down. Really tough in right field, really tough on first baseman. Shadows are creeping in a little bit from the third base side.
That is a good pitch in for a strike.
Very good pitch.
You see kind of a tale of 2 seasons for Nick Kurtz, the first half and then the second half, and how things have progressed for him.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Another strike, another terrific pitch from Darden. And Kurtz did miss half a dozen games with an injury. But after that, he's played very, very well. Behind in the count here, 0-2. And he strikes out. Darden does his thing. Strikeout number 3 for him. The Deacons strand a runner. We've played 3 in Winston. 1-0 Deacons.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 4:55 meeting.
Can they turn it around and make this meeting an email?
Jones is taking the ball and running with it. She's asking Grammarly to write the first draft of an email.
What a play. Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you make your point.
She's got a clear shot and it's good.
Bazinga!
It's a slam dunk. The meeting's canceled. They'll go home champions.
Download Grammarly for free.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine
Hi, welcome.
Good to see you.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors
How are you?
that open doors
That went really well.
to growth
Hey.
and opportunity for each other and for our community. For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere
Doing
else.
great.
And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Nebraska medicine, together extraordinary.
At the top of the broadcast, we showed you things in the Atlantic. Well, here's the overall picture in the battle for the ACC regular season championship. Clemson and Carolina right at 17-7. Carolina owns the tiebreaker based off of head-to-head with Georgia Tech, and Tigers trying to win the regular season title for the first time since 06. The Tar Heels won it back in 2018.
Yeah, talking with a handful of coaches here the last few weeks, everybody seems to think that this year's conference tournament is really going to be impactful. And there are some times where it's pretty cut and dried, but there are teams still vying for national seeds and hosting positions and everything else. So
Hinderleiter swings at the first pitch. That is deep, and that is gone. Home run for Hinderleiter. His 12th of the year, a leadoff shot, and Clemson ties the game at 1.
just a little bit of a reach out on a pitch out away from him and drove it into right center field. It just kept on going. More of a line drive type. Didn't make it over the fence by a lot, but drives it out to right center field. He's running hard.
89th home run for the Tigers. They hit just a whisker under 2 home runs a game, second highest mark in Clemson history.
Completely different look than when A's home run, but the ball went 413 feet.
So a 1-1 tie as Blake Wright looks at the 1-0 pitch. That's in for a strike. Wright was the second strikeout victim of Chase Burns tonight. He's got 7 total, but just gave up the home run, and we're square to run apiece. Went around, and that's a strike, 1-2. Wright says, no, I didn't. Can you check? And here's a 1-2. That's way outside. Ball 2.
You know, back to Hinderleiter for just a moment. I don't know that I've seen a first baseman go over to shortstop like that. And Eric Bakich said, well, Cronworth out in San Diego now when he was at Michigan did it, but
got him swinging. Strikeout number 8 for Burns. 1 down.
Kind of an unusual position switch.
A look at the 4th inning for Clemson, 64 runs. That's the most of any. So they like the number 4 for some reason.
Second time around.
Tied the game tonight as Canarella takes a strike. He popped out to third base in the 2nd inning.
I really liked watching him hit last year.
Well, all he did was hit .388.
That's good.
As a freshman. 7 homers. Drove in 47.
That's good.
He had 71 singles, which was 8th in Clemson history. And he led all freshmen in the league with hits per game last season at 1.64. Really good-looking kid from Hartsville, South Carolina. 1-2 from Burns. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2. Strikeout number 9 for Burns.
Well, and that's where he gets you, because all day he's been throwing the breaking ball for the strikeout, throwing it out of the zone. And instead, he goes with a fastball at 98 in the lower half. Outstanding pitch. The game plan for Clemson was going to be they wanted to take the slider away from him and concentrate on the fastball, curveball. But when he's throwing strikes with all 3, and then he will mix in a 90-mile-an-hour changeup as well.
There's a check swing strike to Obertop, the catcher, who was strikeout victim number 3 back in the 2nd inning. Quickly strike 2. That is a chop foul.
One of these days when he's throwing a bullpen, there's our guy, Chase Walter.
He's the
on it.
He's the dugout vacuum cleaner for foul balls. Here's the 0-2. That's high.
Started to say, one of these days when Chase Burns is throwing a side bullpen, I want you to go down and stand on the steps down there. Get a little closer to the action.
I'm as close as I want to get. Right here. Here's the 1-2. Strikeout number 10 for the 10th time in a game for Burns. 1-1. It's tight in Winston. Bottom 4 in Winston, all tied at 1 apiece. 3 hits, 2 of them home runs.
What a game.
Off to a great start in what we think could be a really, really good ACC series.
Yeah,
Number 2 Clemson, number 12 Wake.
Going to be a lot of good baseball played this weekend. Big crowd here tonight. It's jammed out there. They're lined up a couple deep on the concourse.
All right, Ethan Darden is ready. Seaver King will lead it off for Wake. Swings at the first pitch. 2 big hops right to Purify. Again, he was positioned absolutely perfectly, and there's a 1 away.
Yeah, you watch that throw from Purify, and he may not stay at second base his whole career. That's pretty good arm. Only 32 pitches for Darden, so Wake Forest being aggressive early in the count, swinging and making soft contact. Big shift on for Reinisch.
Here's the cleanup hitter, Reinisch. Swings at the first pitch into the shift. That's the shortstop, Hinderleiter, throwing, and they're 2 away. Well, now Jack Winay's going to come up. Here's his last at bat. We got Wake out to the lead, sending one the opposite way to right field. Way over the right field fence for the homer.
Well, Bill Salento said that the entire game plan for Wake Forest was to be to hunt the fastball up, make him get it up so he doesn't have the good run on it and action on it. And we've seen 2 easy ground balls. And so Bill Salento goes into full stall mode here with Jack Winay. I think he's probably saying take 1 pitch. Not necessarily. If he throws it down the middle, hit it out of the ballpark. That'd be my advice. If he throws it in a good spot where you're not going to drive it, take it. You can work with 1 strike on you.
Winay's a sophomore from Newton, Massachusetts.
Part of this is an opportunity to give Chase Burns a chance to get a deep breath and get a cup of Gatorade or whatever it might be
in the Wake Forest dugout, so it's a chance to give your pitcher some time.
Yeah, here's a strike.
Pretty good pitch, too. There's that crossfire. You could really see it there.
It's off the plate, a ball and a strike. You and I were having a little pre-game meal.
Production meeting?
And I was kidding. I said, if these two pitchers are on, we could play in an hour and 15 minutes. And I was joking, but they are both on, and it's tough to hit. That ball coming across the plate.
Tough to see out there right now, too.
It's inside, 3 balls and a strike.
I came out to practice last night, Clemson's practice, and at this time of the evening, they were practicing pitchers fielding bunts and throwing one-hoppers to the first baseman so that the ball wouldn't get in the first baseman's eyes.
3-1 pitch, and he walked him in 5, and the Deacons have a 2-out base runner.
Now, you want to talk about covering every situation. The sun's in the pitcher's eyes, so throw it a la Davey Concepcion years and years ago.
They don't give National Coach of the Year just to anybody. Just anybody, right? I mean,
no, you're exactly right. It's attention to detail. I mean, they worked on a lot of things, hit a lot of balls off the wall, got a lot of balls up into the sun, but pitchers throwing bouncers to first was nice.
You were talking about that series last year in Clemson where Wake won all 3, swept the Tigers at home. And it shocked me to look that and see that we're talking about Eric Bakich. Wake's the only ACC team that the Tigers haven't beaten under him.
That's significant. Small sample, but
absolutely
still
small sample.
Something that is an oddity because it's hard to sweep a series. Really hard to sweep a series on the road.
Point is, he's beaten them all, right? And has not beaten Wake in a game yet.
Well, he jumped in and made an impression on the conference in a hurry, no question about that.
Well, especially the way Clemson ended last year. It started just kind of so-so.
Yeah.
Not even so-so, and then, wow, just really took off. And swept right through the ACC tournament, 4 games, champ. That was pretty easy. Here's Tellier. 1-0 pitch, 2 balls and no strikes.
Social media being what it is, after the Tigers' first loss last year, people were wondering if they made the right decision or not. Sorry.
2-0. Well, Tellier squared to bunt. Lets it go, ball 3.
Yeah, really odd after 2 easy plays. See, it's all in the coaching staff. Comes down, takes a little extra time, and look what happens.
There is a strike. Yeah, ground outs by King and Reinisch to second and short. Then the walk to Winne. Now the count 3-1 to the Deacons' second baseman with 2 outs in a tie game. Back-to-back walks here with 2 outs in the 4th.
Okay, and your pitching coach has already made a trip, so he's got nothing left to come out to say because the next trip you got to change pitchers. So now you start thinking about 1 mistake or 2 mistakes that you make during the course of a game can kill you. This would be the spot. If you make a mistake, it's a game changer.
Well, and Morales is the hitter. He struck out looking back in the 2nd inning to end the inning. We talked about he is one of the hotter Deacons at the plate in the last several games. Look out, Tigers. That was back into the dugout and off the front rail. Everybody's all right.
Now, Morales is not a home run hitter, but he's got a couple. But the 2 walks are really surprising.
That floats just inside, maybe a tad high, ball 1. But Morales, last 10 games, he's drawn 8 walks himself, has 12 hits and driven in 12 runs, hitting .462 in that span. That's a fly ball to right. Wind behind it, helping, gone for Morales. A 3-run shot here in the bottom of the 4th, and all of this with 2 outs.
2 pitches, 2 outs. Salento comes down, stalls things out, walk, mistake, home run, 4-0. Wow.
Just the third home run for Antonio Morales, and Wake now leads it 4-1 here in Winston-Salem.
Well, we talked about him being a ground ball pitcher and so in control, make one mistake and it jumps up and bites.
Darden had only given up 3 home runs in 50 1/3 innings coming into the game. 2 home runs already here tonight. The Hawk takes a strike, and it's 1-1. He is on a tear these last 11 games of Morales in the Wake dugout. Strike 2 to Hawk, who's the DH tonight for the Demon Deacs, and a transfer from Carolina. He grounded out to shortstop in his first at bat tonight. Another ground ball. Wright charges and throws for the out, and the side is retired. But Antonio Morales, here's the swing, deposits that into the right field trees, and wakes up 3.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 4:55 meeting.
Can they turn it around and make this meeting an email?
Jones is taking the ball and running with it. She's asking Grammarly to write the first draft of an email.
What a play. Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you make your point.
She's got a clear shot and it's good.
Bazinga!
It's a slam dunk. The meeting's canceled. They'll go home champions.
Download Grammarly for free.
When you get all-you-can-eat boneless wings and fries at Buffalo Wild Wings, you create an infinite loop of boneless wings and fries with no beginning, no end. Just boneless wings and fries forever and ever until they are you and you are them. All-you-can-eat boneless wings for $19.99 on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Attention, Dragon Warriors here. Dang, I'm psyched. Skadoosh. Stand back. I'm gonna kick my butt. Yeah.
Well, this is a very familiar pattern for Chase Burns. High fastballs, sometimes in triple digits. Get ahead and throw your breaking ball. Get guys to chase it out of the strike zone. That works too, and he does that very well. Top part of the strike zone with another breaking ball, but there we're back to triple digits. Up on top, and very few people can catch up to that. 10 strikeouts, 0 walks, and we saw that last half inning exactly how important 390s are in the game of baseball, as Clemson paid a big price for the 2 that they issued.
And again, worth noting that Burns now with at least 10 strikeouts now in 10 of his now 13th start. And he now with a 3-run lead after the Morales home run. Becerra, Crichton, and Naraki for Clemson. Here's Becerra, who was strikeout victim number 4 in the second inning.
You know, this isn't a very unusual position for Clemson to be in, though. They're a team that comes from behind on a regular basis.
That's a strike, 1-1. And the 1-1, that stays a bit high. 2 balls and a strike. And Larry, to your point, I mean, Clemson is used to coming back, 21 wins coming from behind. Scored first in 47 games. There's a strike. And it's 2-2.
So there's no panic in the Clemson dugout. But having said that, they've got to face Chase Burns for a couple of more innings anyway.
And the 2-2. That is a slow roller over there to Kurtz, an easy play for him, and Becerra is retired.
But Burns has gone into triple digits with his pitch count as well as with his fastball. So he can last and get there and still be throwing in the high 90s when he gets up to the 100 pitch mark.
One down now for Jack Crichton, the first baseman, who grounded out back in the second inning. Take strike one.
What's the best pitch in baseball, Stan?
The first pitch strike?
Strike one. Absolutely right.
Okay. Breaking ball misses, a ball and a strike.
You had deer in the headlights look there for just a fraction of a second.
I don't like pop quizzes. You know that.
Well, you hear me say it 1,000 times a year.
Here's the 1-1. Oh.
It was just a fraction.
Hey, but I aced it.
But you got it, yeah.
I got it. Oh, no more. No more. 1-2 pitch, lifting it to shallow left center. Houston says, I've got it, and he does.
Emphatically said, I've got it.
Took control, didn't he?
As opposed to the pop-up a little while ago at third base where he kind of said, hey, you know, Seaver, if you want that, you go right ahead, pal.
All right, 2 down now for Nolan Naraki. DHing for the Tigers. Right on top of the head.
82-mile-an-hour breaking ball. He just flipped it a little bit, sailed out of his hand. Kind of casting the fly rod is what the old-timers called it.
The look.
Just pops out. Didn't quite hang on to it long enough. 82 miles per hour.
Now Purify, the second baseman, he struck out in the third inning. Runner goes on the pitch. That gets away from Gill. He still can't find it. He's had a little trouble back there tonight.
Well, I repeat, I want you to go stand on the steps one time and watch Burns throw a bullpen and think about trying to knock that ball down. It's just. And now Corey Muscara is going to take a long walk out, slow walk out from the Wake Forest dugout. Sometimes when you're a pitcher that likes to work fast, you get yourself going too fast. And that'll throw you out of rhythm just as much as if you lose it the other way. And it does just as much harm if you start going too fast. Now, you know when you get the sign, you know where you want the ball to go. You know what you want to do with it. It's all instinct. But sometimes the adrenaline gets you going a little bit too fast. And you really want to put the hammer down for, if you're Wake Forest, you really want to put the hammer down right here, get back to your dugout again, and see if you can build on what happened that last half inning.
Tom Walters' team with a 4-1 lead here in Winston-Salem on Clemson, top of the 5th inning. Behind Chase Burns' 10 strikeouts and a couple of home runs.
Now, Tom Walter and Corey Muscara with this slow stroll, you know, doesn't look like the adrenaline is flowing inside, but I guarantee you that there's a lot of adrenaline going on right there. Good total for the 5th inning, right around 14 pitches per inning.
Purify showed bunt, takes ball 2. It's 2-0.
That was just kind of a let me change the strike zone look around a little bit.
Same thing, different result. Strike 1.
Some pitchers have been known to yell, go ahead and bunt. Maybe followed by some kind of a name or expletive.
Take something off there, 2-2. Still at 87 miles an hour.
You know, I read an article about Paul Skeens today, and it said once in a generation type of ability. Same thing right here.
2-2 pitch. Struck him out. That ball bounced around behind the plate. Throw to first. Strikeout number 11 ends the inning, and the Tigers strand Naraki at second. Deacons up 4-1 here in the 5th.
To be a part of Nebraska medicine
Hi, welcome.
Good to see you.
is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors
How are you?
that open doors
That went really well.
to growth
Hey.
and opportunity for each other and for our community. For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere
Doing
else.
great.
And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Nebraska medicine, together extraordinary.
When you get all you can eat boneless wings and fries at Buffalo Wild Wings, you create an infinite loop of boneless wings and fries with no beginning, no end. Just boneless wings and fries forever and ever until they are you and you are them. All you can eat boneless wings for $19.99 on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Well, Wake Forest has 4 runs tonight, all on homers. Here's Jack Winney in the second. Solo shot to right field. A little bit of wind behind it, but he hit it well, and the Deacons had the 1-0 lead. Then with 2 on, center fielder Antonio Morales with his 3rd home run, a 3-run shot. He was getting into it. Why not? Wake on top now, 4-1. The Deacons with 4 runs on 3 hits and an error. The Tigers a run on a solo home run from Jacob Hinderleiter, and that's where we are.
Freshman with his first home run in the Wake Forest Clemson series, and you know, the Clemson has dominated a lot of teams in this conference for a long time. Everybody loves to face them. It's a terrific program. Good feeling.
For Wake Forest here in the 5th inning, 9-1-2. Here's Cameron Gill, the catcher, who grounded out in his first at bat. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Tell you what, if you don't have everything battened down up here, it's going to leave you.
A little windy.
Wind is howling all over the place. Here's the 0-1, way up into the Winston sky. Wow, this could be trouble. And finally, it's Mathis circling under it to make the catch one away.
Well, like I said, Clemson started their practice last night at about 6 o'clock, and they started BP a little bit later than this. And Eric Bakich was hitting pop-ups at least that high most of the time that they were out there practicing.
Top of the Wake order, Merrick Houston takes a strike. Ground out in a single tonight. And Darden quickly ahead, 0-2. Ethan Darden threw a complete game earlier in the season against NC State. First Tiger to do that in 3 years.
What makes something like that happen? Well,
threw 105 pitches, gave up 7 hits and 1 earned run, got the win.
We've seen exactly what makes something like that happen. First pitch strikes.
Yeah.
Get ahead, stay ahead, get soft contact.
It bounces in front of the plate. Darden started last season as a long reliever, and then he moved into the weekend rotation middle of the year. In his 12 starts last year, the Tigers were 11-1. Here's the 1-2 out of play.
It's a funny game, isn't it?
Can be. 1-2. Called strike 3. Another terrific pitch for Darden. And there are 2 down.
Yeah, when he gets the plate and he's ahead in the count, he doesn't get very much of it. And technology is telling us that these are strikes that he's throwing. And I know that they don't always look like it, but he makes some quality pitches.
That's number 4 for Darden. So 2 down for Kurtz, who's 0 for 2. He's flied out and struck out. That is a bouncer left side away from the shift. And a 2-out single for the Deacons.
The shift giveth and the shift taketh away. You a shift guy? We saw, I was when Jake Reinisch made it out earlier because they played it perfectly. And the shortstop, Hinderleiter, just had to come in a little bit from his shortstop position, and he was on the other side of second base. This time it cost him a base hit. I'm a moderated shift guy.
Here's Seaver King. There's a strike. He has grounded out twice tonight.
I've got a feeling with the amount of ground balls I threw, we wouldn't have used maybe as many exaggerated shifts as they seem to now. I mean, you were just talking about 105 pitches for Darden. I threw a complete game of 72 pitches one time.
Oh, you're an
It was
all-star.
strike one, strike two, let's go. Why aren't you guys swinging?
0-2 runner goes, throw down, not in time. A stolen base for Nick Kurtz. And you don't see that all the time.
Well, 3 for 3 this year. Remember back a couple of years, he goes early. He's going regardless of what Darden does. So he started before Darden did.
1-2, that's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Seaver King, who's had an RBI in 8 games in a row, and a chance here with Kurtz out there at second base. Two, that's right at right. Good strong throw across the diamond, and the Deacons will strand Kurtz. We've played 5 in Winston. Demon Deacons up 3.
Well, we talked about Paul Skeens just a moment ago, and he'll be making his debut for the Pittsburgh Pirates tomorrow after racing through the Pirates organization. So here's a little comparison with whiff rates and chase rates for Paul Skeens and Chase Burns, and 48% on the swing and miss, the whiff rate, then chasing the ball out of the strike zone, 31% for Burns. So when you talk about once in a generation type talents, there's 2 guys that you're going to be hearing about pitching in the major leagues for a very, very long time, and bringing up a bunch of strikeouts along the way, racking up a bunch of strikeouts.
Well, Burns with 11 strikeouts tonight. As we reach the top of the 6th, top of the order, here's Mathis. He takes ball 1.
I'll tell you, Stan, that game last year between Skeens and Rhett Lauder was exciting as a game as I think I've ever been to in my life.
And the 1-0 pitch, that's foul back into the screen.
Anxious to see how Skeens does tomorrow. Tom Walter saw enough of it last year.
Mathis is the guy to get you going, maybe. He's been on base 27 games in a row. Actually, make that 28 because he
27 plus 1.
Well, he struck out in the first, but he did get on base. So 28.
I don't get as excited about the on-base streak as I do about getting on base streak.
He does have the 2 strikeouts though, and the 1-2. Strikeout number 3, going to need another throwdown. Gill's wearing it out tonight. Strikeout number 12. All right, that'll bring Hinderleiter to the plate. Last at bat. Bam. He sends it into the sky and over the wall. His 12th home run of the year. And at that point, the Tigers had tied the game, but a 3-run homer for Morales for Wake, and the Deacons have their 3-run lead. 1 down for Hinderleiter, who's 1 for 2 and takes a strike.
To me, the 400-foot mark is still kind of the impressive number. I don't know if it should be or not, particularly with the aluminum bats. But everybody clap your hands. If you get 400, they're legit.
Oh, 2 pitch. That's outside for a ball. And the 1-2. Same spot. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good job laying off.
Strikeout number 13 for Burns. He had 13 in his last start against Western Carolina, 13 tonight, and there are 2 down.
Well, that looked just kind of like it was, I hope he throws a fastball here, and I'm going to swing in that location and hope he hits the bat. And missed the breaking ball by a lot. But sometimes that's your only option with Chase Burns. A little over 2,900.
Now Blake Wright, pardon me, Larry, who struck out twice. It's a piece of that, not much of it. $19 home runs, 60+ runs driven in. It's at 98 miles an hour, 99, nothing in 2.
Well, there sometimes will be 1, sometimes even 2 miles per hour difference in different types of technology. Nothing to get all panicky about. I don't know that you see 98 much better than you see 99. Now 100, which he's done 7 times tonight, that might be a horse of a different color. 7 pitches, 100 miles an hour.
0-2, and Wright just does stay alive.
Mind-boggling.
And the 0-2. Gets him. Strikes out the side for the 2nd time tonight. Number 14 for Burns through 5.5. Lakes lead 3. Home half of the 6th inning. Country night at the ballpark.
Yes, sir.
Giving out those
we've got one.
Those cowboy hats.
You're welcome.
Beautiful night after about a 5-minute downpour at 5 o'clock. And well, somebody got a couple of caps. 2 lids.
Yeah, he didn't look nearly as cold as the other people either, so he might be heating up from the inside out.
Good crowd tonight. Going to be a great ACC baseball weekend, we think. Reinisch, Winay, Tellier for the Demon Deacs. First pitch swung on high into the eyes of Crichton. An easy play for a young man of his talent. There's one away.
Still a few tickets left, I believe, if you want to check online and come on out this weekend. Some great baseball, a couple of good teams, important series. Weather's supposed to be pretty decent.
Darden has retired Jake Reinisch 3 times tonight. Now Winay, who's been on twice and scored 2 of Wake's 4 runs. We've showed you a solo home run. He's also walked.
Chase that head down so quick. Somebody get it. There we go.
And he was on base when Morales hit it out. We're down to 69 degrees. The wind's blowing at about 14 miles an hour, gusting to much higher than that from time to time as Winay stands in.
At this AccuWeather report brought to you by
Ball and a strike. I like weather.
Because you want to get your grass cut.
Job 1. I'm 2 or 3 days behind. I got to go out of town.
Never in my life.
Can you hang over for a couple days and go out? I'll give you the key, and you can.
I don't do hangover anymore, Stan, but I've never seen anybody as fastidious about his grass as you are.
And that hits Winay. And he's aboard with 1 away.
Well, that did not miss the spot by much, and Darden said he wanted to brush. He was giving the sign to his catcher Obertop, but well, just got away from him a little bit. Winay and the Deacs have it going again. Only 69 pitches for Darden. He's thrown a very good baseball game.
That is guided into right for a base hit. Wilnay will stop at second, and now Wake with runners at first and second and one down.
And that's been something that Tellier has done frequently for Wake Forest. When they get the shift on, or there's a man on first in a double play situation and the infield bunches up the middle, he likes to reach out on pitches away from him and go to right field with that big hole on the right side.
Now here's Morales, who has the game's big hit, 3-run homer in the 4th inning.
And, you know, we talked about making a mistake, and the mistake isn't necessarily the home run. It's the 2 walks before it, because you're in the process of having an easy inning, and you have those 2 walks, and all of a sudden you're in trouble. Somebody catches a hold of one, and it's a game changer. It's not the crime, Stan. It's the cover-up.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. About a 150-year-old phrase. Kind of like baseball.
1 ball, no strikes to the Deacons center fielder, who has struck out, as well as hitting that home run. Ball and a strike for Morales, 5'9" in his first year, again out of Norfolk, Massachusetts. Coming out of high school, number 7 overall player from that state. Ball 2.
Wouldn't mind if people called him Tone, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
He wants to be called Tone?
He wouldn't mind.
There's a chopper. Shift was spot on. Bang, bang, double play. They might take a look at this. Hang on.
Yeah, Matt Wessinger in the first base coach's box immediately put his hands to the head, to the Wake Forest dugout. So they're bringing Clemson back on the field, and they're going to have another look at this.
Morales runs well, and this will be reviewed. Called a double play on the field, but they're going to take another look.
Well, my gut watching it, eyeballing it, said safe. It was a nice play at shortstop. Ball down low makes it tough to pick it up. Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah, unless it's very clear, you're not going to change it.
And you know, Stan, we've talked about this a lot, the color of this infield making it difficult. Well, imagine yourself being a first base umpire and seeing that ball down low and trying to decide, and it gets down close to that light colored turf, and you have a little trouble following the ball. I'm going to go without.
I'm going to go without as well. I don't think they can change it.
To the naked eye, I thought safe when the play happened. It's flip a coin, and if it's flip a coin, I think you got to go with the call that was made.
I would agree. Again, the call is out at first, which would complete the double play. And I think they've seen enough where it is they're coming out with the call.
Their coin landed. Oh!
Second time tonight, a call has been overruled.
And once again, the cotton jinx works. Now I'm 12 for 13.
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks for that, partner.
I got you. So 2 down now after the change. We'll look at it again.
From that angle,
I don't know.
Might lean the other way.
I don't know.
It's tough.
It is tough. It's very, very difficult. But now Wake with runners on the corners and 2 outs for Austin Hawk.
I'll tell you what, when people ask me why I love the game of baseball so much, it's because shortstops make plays like that, and it's the beauty of the game to me.
Hawks grounded out twice, make that 3 times, and the Deacons strand a couple here in the 6th inning. Off we go to the 7th. Wake 4-1 over number 2 Clemson. Into the 7th inning we go on a breezy night in Winston-Salem. Wake Forest on top of visiting Clemson in this first game of a 3-game ACC series. Chase Burns and the Deacons with the lead. And here's a look at Chase Burns in ACC play. You see the 15 strikeouts at Virginia Tech. That is so far his ceiling. Has 14 already through 6. And also Larry, 7 innings looks like his ceiling as well.
Well, 86 pitches to this point.
First pitch swung on and ripped to right. That'll be a one-hopper off of the wall, and a hard hit single by Canarella to lead off this 7th inning for the Tigers.
And very nicely played by Jake Reinisch out in right field to hustle that ball back in and keep it at a single.
So a base hit for the Tigers. Here's Obertop, the catcher, who struck out twice. Takes a strike there.
96. A little bit of a shift for Wake Forest. Not quite a double play type situation. You see the Tellier at second base is a little bit more directly behind. Quick feet.
0-1 to Obertop. Swing and a miss. I actually got a little piece of that back to the screen.
You know, Clemson came out early in the game and was very aggressive, swinging early in the count, swinging a number of first pitches. Looks like this inning they've decided to go back to that approach.
And there is strikeout 15.
And just a big old sweeping curveball and zero chance. A lot of strikeouts. Look at the action on that.
Well, can he get to 16?
Like his chances.
That's the question.
How many pitches are they going to let him throw is the question.
Yeah, he's at 90. Here's Becerra, who struck out and grounded out. There's a strike. Beeks nearly had a play. Canarella down at first had drifted off about 15, 16 feet down there.
He saw the ball go in the dirt, so he was thinking about second, and Gill couldn't find it. And because he couldn't find it, both Burns and Kurtz at first base did a little half hop in the air. As in opportunity wasted, because they could have picked him off had Gill been able to find the ball immediately. They were in the air at the same time. It was pretty funny.
Ball and a strike to Becerra. Sophomore from Greenville. That is high. Got a little spin on it. In will come Tellier. Canarella down to second, 2 down.
Well, you're at the point of the ball game where you're counting down outs now, and in the Wake Forest dugout, Tom Walter and Corey Muscara are saying, okay, who can get us 3, who can get us 3, who can get us how many? And you're at that point of the game, so a good decision by Tellier to go to second base and get 1 out, get the sure thing. Don't try for the glory play at second base. Take the easy out. Yeah, it sounds so simple. It sounds like Little League, and it holds true.
Now the first baseman, Crichton, looks at ball 1. Crichton on the night, a ground out and a pop out to shortstop. Two balls and no strikes with 2 outs. And Canarella for the Tigers down at second base. Ball 3.
Don't look now, but one mistake. And
did miss by a whole lot, but lost him on 4 pitches, and now the Tigers with 2 on and 2 away.
And things tighten up just a little bit, or a lot.
First walk surrendered by Burns on the night. And Tom Walter's going to pay a visit to the mound. And a lot of Wake Forest fans, no.
Chase Burns looked a little bit surprised. Tom Walter's got a left-hander going, but I don't think he's thinking too much about getting him out, but he sure did relax everybody on the hill, didn't he?
Here's the reaction by Chase Burns. What? What?
No, what? No. And this is the easiest standing ovation that Tom Walter has ever received.
All right, here's the DH, Nolan Naraki.
Clemson trying to take a little bit of the juice out of the situation. This is a smart move.
It is.
By Eric Bakich. Let's deflate things a little.
Tigers going to have a little confab in front of their dugout.
Chase Burns is the kind of pitcher that brings excitement with him. You see all the gyrations, and none of it's directed at the opposing team, you know. And the coaching staff made a point early in the year to say if you watch him, he's never looking in the other dugout when he's expressing his joy at the strikeout he just had. But it's just adrenaline. And so that was a smart move by Bakich to try to slow things down a little bit.
All right, 2 on, 2 out. Crowd's getting into it as the DH Naraki stands in. Last 4 games, he has 8 hits. He is 0 for 1 tonight. And Burns hit him in the 5th.
He's got 4 home runs for the year.
First pitch, strike 1.
So Wake Forest had a 3-run homer by a player that had 2 on the year.
Are you having fun yet?
Wow, this is great.
Strike 2. On pitch 100.
So now do you think about trying to slide a fastball by him? He's missed a couple of breaking balls by a ton. Decisions.
Strikeout number 15. Change that 16. And that ends the 7th. A career high will get us to stretch time, with the Deacons in Winston-Salem leading 4-1. And it's a happy dugout, a happy young man, Chase Burns, 16 strikeouts, a new career standard for him. He leaves after 7 innings, and he leaves the game with the lead at 4-1, and Gill takes a cut at the first pitch here from Darden.
It looked like a very, very emotional moment between Chase Burns and Corey Muscara. A little bit more jovial with his teammates, but they had a nice quiet word there for a second.
And Darden quickly ahead of the Deacon catcher, 0-2. Been retired twice tonight. 2-3 hops to right. Pretty much a standard play for him, 1 away.
Well, we mentioned earlier in the game that a lot of players have come back because tomorrow's senior day and so on and so forth. And a big celebration. Guys will walk and get their diplomas and certificates and everything else. Corey Muscara mentioned that he had a lot of former players here, and we talked a little about
that's why these guys are in it. That's why the Eric Backages and the Tom Walters do this job, is to have moments like that in a dugout with a player that they've coached and struggled with and gone through good times. And to have players come back means a lot, you guys that are out there. It's appreciated.
Well, Chase Burns said one of the big reasons he came to Wake Forest was Corey Mascara.
Yeah, and to improve him as a player in all facets of the game, but the very well-respected coaching staff because of the family atmosphere here. Talking with Cameron Gill the other day, and he was talking about the approach is we give you the honest truth when you come in, and if you do your part, we'll do our part, and that's the way it's going to be.
1-2 pitch to Houston. That is right at Mathis in right field, and there are 2 down. He's about the only one still battling some sunshine.
Yeah, but again, Clemson practiced that last night when they came in. And Eric Backich was having trouble keeping the ball in the ballpark. He kept hitting line drives out, but he kept working here.
2 down now, and here's Kurtz, who's 1 for 3 with a stolen base. Single in the 5th inning. Pulls that toward the Tiger bullpen. And there is some action down there.
I believe that Zach Johnston was throwing for Wake Forest in the previous inning. See if he's the new pitcher.
1-1, that will be just foul.
Another thing that on the Wake Forest side, in this kind of a situation, he's got 16 strikeouts. He's had 100, how many pitches did you say? 100, whatever it is, right there. But a lot of coaches would say, go out there for one more. But he hasn't done it earlier in the year. They're very conscious about injuries here, and they just say, we'll take our chances and we'll run somebody else out there. It's your future. You've got millions of dollars on the line.
101.
101, thank you.
You're welcome. Here's the 2-2. Check swing, did not go.
So he had 100, he threw another one.
David Pritchett down at third base, wasn't convinced.
Fine umpire.
Here's Burns, 16 strikeouts. Payoff pitch, not close, a 2-out walk. Third walk from Darden tonight. Second time Kurtz has been on base. Kurtz with 61 walks. That's right at 1.4 plus a game, which is #1 in the country.
Just think how many he'd have with those other 6 games that he missed.
And now King retreats toward the Wake dugout. Tigers will convene on the mound.
Stall time.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, Stan. Those 6 games he missed, he'd have 8.4 more.
Did you get out your phone for that, the calculator?
No, I did it. Scrapped it out down here at the top of my stat sheet. I went old school.
Oh,
1.4 times 6.
There's Lagernick in the bullpen.
Seaver King just ready for anybody to throw him a baseball. He's ready to hit.
He's 0 for 3 tonight. And takes a look at strike 1.
We talked about Nick Kurtz stealing a base his last time on, and a lot of scouts ask about him as an athlete. I remind them he batted leadoff in his freshman year when Wake Forest was searching for a leadoff hitter.
That's a check swing strike, 0-2.
If I recall, he was 6 for 6 in stolen bases that year, or he had 6 anyway.
high chopper. In comes right. Not the easiest of plays. Safe at first. King beat it out. Infield hit. And Wake with some more noise here with 2 outs.
Well, put that speed tool into play. As soon as that ball went down on the turf, King knew how high it was going to go, and he was all out from the start. And a heck of a play over at third base by Wright. He did everything you possibly can. Just not enough time.
And that gets Wake to Jake Reinisch, the cleanup hitter, 0 for 3 tonight. Left-handed hitter. Strikeout and 2 ground outs. That is high to right. Got under it a bit. Mathis, plenty of room. You just never know when it's hit to that part of the park. Wake strands a couple. We've played 7. The Deacons still lead it 4-1 in Winston. All right, Wake Forest has gone to the bullpen, and the Deacons get Zach Johnston, big 6'5" sophomore from Maine, and he is in to relieve Chase Burns.
Hard as this may be to believe, his nickname is Slim. That's all anybody calls him. And last year he had some difficulty throwing strikes. He's found the strike zone much more frequently this year and become a very reliable left-hander out of the bullpen for the Deacons.
Purify will lead it off for Clemson. Swings at the first pitch. He struck out a couple of times tonight. Number 9 hitter for the Tigers. Wake Forest has a new right fielder as well. Mitchell Salvino is out there in the last little bit of sun. About to go away.
It's that last 15 minutes of suntan.
It's outside, ball 1.
You know, down at the beach, out there trying to get that last little bit before you head into the house.
I do.
Straighten that neck.
Good pitch, a little outside, maybe low. 2 balls and a strike.
93 miles per hour. That's pretty good top end for Johnston.
Chase Burns got Purify swinging in the 3rd and the 5th. Strike 2 there, 2-2.
Well, if you can go off speed after a really good fastball in a hitter's count, you got a chance to get him to chase on a pitch out of the strike zone.
And the Johnston 2-2. That is hit pretty hard up the middle. They tell you right there. High throw. But Purify retired for the 3rd time tonight.
Tellier got it and looked like he thought he had time. Then he remembered who was running and said, I better air one out over there. And you got a big target, 6'5", 235 pounds over at first base. So a nice play by the Ada, Michigan native.
Top of the Tiger order, here's Mathis. He's 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts tonight. Former Richmond Spider. His dad played at Duke. Chip Mathis was a Blue Devil. Huh. Two balls and no strikes to Mathis, who at Richmond in 148 games had 117 runs driven in and 21 home runs. Ball 3. In the 8th inning. And Wake with a 3-run lead. Guides that one in for a strike. Just under 90 miles an hour.
And sometimes you guide them a little bit more than others.
It's on the ground opposite the shift.
There you go.
Left side of the infield, base hit.
So I guess really if we look at the shift tonight, it's 1-4, 2 against. You see Merrick Houston on the second base side. Pitches away from him a little bit, and instead of trying to pull, he goes with it the opposite way for a single.
So Mathis aboard now. Hinderleiter, who hit the home run for the Tigers' only run back in the 4th inning. There was a leadoff homer. He looks at strike one. He's also grounded into a double play and struck out. Ball and a strike.
Change up for a strike, fastball for a ball.
We were talking earlier about Clemson's turnaround last year. At one point, Tigers won 17 games in a row. Ties for 4th best in Clemson history. And 12 of the last 13 on the road, Clemson won last year. Long run out there by Salvino. That's out of play. Mentioned earlier that the Tigers, going back to last season, won their last 8 road series and are 19-4 in those games. That's a chopper off of Houston. Don't see that very often. That bounces into right field. Kicks were setting up for a 6-4-3 and don't get anything.
Perfect double play ball. Not exactly sure what happened to Houston. He had to go about 3 steps to his left and was going down. And the ball banged off of his leg out into short right field.
That'll be an error charge to Houston. His 8th.
But dangerous situation now.
Yeah, right at the plate. 19 home runs. Guides that one to right field. That will score a Tiger run. And now it is 4-2. RBI for Wright, his 66th of the year.
And you got to give Wright a lot of credit because he's a home run hitter. And instead of trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark and be the hero, he saw the opportunity to slap the ball into that big hole over on the right-hand side and keep things going for Clemson. Now Corey Mosquera will take his time heading to the mound. There's action in the Wake bullpen. Can't see who it is. That's Cole Rowland, who would be coming in to pitch the 9th. Now it's just a matter of how many outs you want him to get. Left-hander at the plate, right, left to follow.
Inning started with the purified ground out. Then Mathis got the base hit. Then the Houston error. And he is normally very sure-handed. And then the right RBI base hit. Gets Clemson within a couple. Tigers still with 2 on and only 1 out here for Canarella, who's 1 for 3 on the evening with a single in the 7th inning. There's a strike. That is fouled, but not by much down the third base line.
And King a pretty good distance off the third base line too. Houston shaded toward second base. You see the big gap right down the line. And there's Houston behind second.
There's a strikeout and a big one for Johnston.
Not exactly sure what thought process Canarella was going through on this swing, because it's a breaking ball out of the zone. Thought it was going to hit him. And evidently he thought he could bail and wail a little bit on the breaking ball inside, but he made the decision late.
Now I want to back up to that Hinderleiter ground ball that I said was an error on Houston. That has been judged as a base hit.
Big strikeout.
All right, yeah, Canarella is out. Wake Forest goes to the bullpen. More info coming on the other side. Back to Winston-Salem as we zoom in on Wake's new reliever, Cole Rowland, whom we've talked about just briefly, Larry, and he is in there, third pitcher of the night.
Well, the guy with the moxie and makeup for that closer's position will be called on for potentially a 4-out save in tonight's ball game. The ERA a bit deceptive because of one appearance that skewed that. 16 strikeouts, just one walk. So he controls his own destiny, and he's got that funk pitch. He's got the breaking ball that absolutely has the bottom drop out of it. Everybody knows he's going to throw it. Will throw a fastball about 90 miles per hour on occasion, but it's the gyro type breaking ball that perplexes hitters to the nth degree.
So Rowland is on. There are 2 base runners, a run in here for the Tigers in the top of the 8th. Wake's lead is now 2. Hinderleiter's out there at second. Wright's at first. Wright drove in the run with a base hit. And the catcher Obertop will stand in to hit. He struck out 3 times tonight.
Key for Rowland is starting the ball below the belt and letting it break down out of the strike zone.
All those strikeouts for Obertop against Burns, who had 16 before leaving after 7 innings. That drops in for a strike.
Pretty good start for Rowland. Coming out of the bullpen throwing strikes. His manager's delight.
Another great breaking ball, nothing in 2.
You know, you hear all the conversation about the Wake Forest lab, and people think it's the fastball and big power arms, but putting spin on the ball is a big part of what goes on.
Crowd into it, and the 0-2 pitch. Struck him out, and a big strikeout. Tigers scratch out a run through 7.5. Wake's lead 4-2 in Winston-Salem. We have played 7.5. Wake leading 4-2. You see the graphic at the bottom of the score there. 29-1 Wake is when leading after 8. That's going to be the situation following the Deacon at bat here. And the new pitcher for the Tigers, Chance Fitzgerald, the 6'1" freshman out of Sanford, Florida.
Well, reaching down into the freshman class to bring a young man out for some big game experience. Only 3 1/3 innings for the year, so you can see a great deal of confidence. Got 5 strikeouts in that 3 1/3. So he strikes out. He has struck out half the hitters that have recorded outs. Big arm for this young man.
And he gets his first look at Jack Winay. That's a little low, ball 1. Winay is homered, walked, and been hit tonight. Solo homer back in the second inning gave Wake Forest the lead. There's a strike. 1-1. Big swing, ripped, but right at Canarella. Line drive out. Stung it, but
Yep. Guy's been playing there 175 years. Gannarella's still thinking about that at-bat he had in the last half inning.
Here's the second baseman for the Deacons, Tellier. 1 for 2 night with a walk and a run scored. Looks at strike one. Again, the Deeks 22-7 in this ballpark this year. Since 2022, 77, 17-1 at home. Had the great year last year, 29-3. Two balls and a strike.
Two and two. That dropped down a little bit on the breaking ball there. Interesting decision for Wake Forest tomorrow. They're making a change in the order of their starting pitchers. David Falco.
Oh, struck him out. Yeah.
Bottom of the strike zone, and Tellier wasn't too sure about it. Last quick look down to home plate umpire Doug Vines. David Falco will be starting for Wake Forest. That's ordinarily the day that Josh Hartle's been pitching.
Here's Morales. Purify comes on. Might have even glanced off the glove of Fitzgerald. But the Deeks go quietly in the 8th. On to the 9th. Tigers need a couple. Okay, to the 9th we go. Wake Forest with the 4-2 lead. Darden got the start for the Tigers and went 7 good innings, gave up 4 earned runs, struck out 4. Hinderleiter with the solo home run for Wake. Chase Burns went 7 innings, struck out 16, a new career high. And Antonio Morales with a 3-run blast for the Deeks, and Wake's lead at 2 runs as we start the 9th.
On that 3-run homer coming after 2 walks, Morales got a ball and pulled it down the line and resulted in 3 runs.
It'll be Becerra, Crichton, and Nuraki scheduled to hit for the Tigers here in the top of the 9th inning. And Cole Rowland out there in relief.
And if you're somebody that has never watched Cole Rowland pitch before, yes, he does that every time he pitches, with all the gyrations and the bouncing of the ball and the enthusiasm and everything that goes with it.
Here's the left fielder Becerra, 0 for 3 tonight. A strikeout and 2 ground outs. Short hops the plate, ball 1.
Now with all the activity that Rowland does out there, there is some purpose to it. He's trying to change how long he takes between pitches, and if you watch the pitch clock, it's different between every pitch.
That's right down the middle for a strike.
Straight change. Not very straight, but it was a change.
Swings through that pitch. 1 and 2. One-two from Rowland. Struck him out. Gets away though from Gill all the way to the screen, and got the 3rd time tonight that on a strikeout the Tigers end up with a base runner.
Hard to believe, but true. Big breaking ball, great pitch. Swing and a miss, clean swing and a miss. Thought for a minute it might have been a foul tip, but clean miss. That hurts Wake Forest.
Yeah, so despite Rowland striking out the 2 Tigers he's seen, Clemson with a leadoff runner aboard here in the 9th, and Crichton at the plate. 0 for 2 with a walk, ground out and a pop out. That's a ground ball. Looks it could be a chance for 2, 4, 6. 3, 2 down.
Bang, bang at first, watching the Clemson dugout to see if they're going to appeal, but it doesn't look like it. Backhanded flip by Tellier takes a little bit more time, and he's a fair distance away, but he wants to make sure that one a little bit low, and a cannon to first base by Merrick Houston, who knows he had to get rid of it quickly and firmly.
Well, 3 times the Tigers have gotten on base with that strikeout, and then twice after that they've hit into a double play. Here's Naraki, and the Tigers are down to their last out, trailing 4-2 here in the 9th. Naraki on the night has struck out twice and been hit by a pitch. Wake swept Clemson last year at Clemson. 3-0, trying to get the opening win here in the Winston-Salem series. There's a strike, 1-1.
Strike 2. A very excited Wake Forest crowd.
One ball, 2 strikes to the Tiger DH. Time called at the plate.
A lot of discussion about the pitch clock right now.
Yeah, Naraki and Gill were very cordial with one another through that. They were like, yep, yep. Everything's cool. Crowd standing. Here's the 1-2. Fouled at the plate.
You know, it's kind of to the point with that, with the pitch clock, that nobody's really quite sure when you can and can't, and how it all works. The hitters sometimes are as confused as the pitchers.
Ground ball, foul at third base.
Seaver King was taking no chances, was he? He got to the line in a hurry to make sure it was on his right side and foul.
Rowland has seen 3 Tigers. He struck 2 of them out. Got Crichton to hit into a double play, and here we are with 2 outs in the ninth. And another 1-2 pitch. Ball 2.
Tried to sneak the fastball by him. He had a couple extra miles per hour. Didn't miss by much. Paying umpires thought they were all over it.
The 2-2 pitch. In the air to shallow right center. This is going to be Salvino to make the catch. And that will do it. Wake Forest wins it over the Clemson Tigers 4-2. And Larry, it was a great pitching duel to start, right? And this was a really fun ACC game.
Well, it was a terrific college baseball game, and baseball experience is what it was, Stan, and some very good pitching, obviously, on both sides. Quick pace to the game. The players were into it. The crowd was into it. And there's still a little bit of chirping going on, I think, out on the field, but a lot of excitement. And that man takes the excitement level, Chase Burns, takes the excitement level to a different level. And a big night for Wake Forest, getting the first win of the series as they make their march towards the conference tournament.
Yeah, Chase Burns strikes out a career 16. Wake Forest gets a couple of big home runs. And 4-2 is the final as Wake Forest wins it over visiting Clemson here in Game 1. The Deacons with the win, 34-16, 13-12 in the league. The Tigers dropped to 17-8, 37-11 overall. Game 2 tomorrow, 4 o'clock afternoon here in Winston-Salem. So long from the couch.